Hello, everybody. Welcome to Political Football. My name is Dave. I'm here with Scott. Hopefully, we'll be joined by Clev shortly. So I adjust my camera here. Scott, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm just reading your name.
Yeah.
How are you?
Well, I'm okay. Surgery recovery is going good.
Yeah.
I'm
How's the incision?
incision is healing fine. It's good. I got the follow-up on Friday to make sure everything's perfect with it. But yeah, everything's good. So I'm back to feeling like myself again. I should have a lot more energy than I did last week. Although I think I made it.
So Dave is muted, and while Dave is muted, we're going to tell the story. He had a little surgery on his. Dave, tell the story.
I had a lipoma on my back. I had to have moved, but it turned out it was like 4 times bigger than they thought it would be. So the incision is 4 times bigger than they thought it would be. And I was knocked out, and it's my first time ever being knocked out. And then I woke up, and so there's a thing that folks like me do, because of the Tylenol.
Here we go.
Like in children a lot. I mean, all children kind of do this, but it's a thing that stays with us, where we will just shout a single word, either our feelings, our desires, or an observation. And I want to do this by default all the time. I just don't. I'm able to mask and not do it. Other people are around.
So you have a touch of a filter, which is good.
Yeah, but it's not. So it'd be like if I'm home alone and I get my stomach starts to rumble, I'll just go hungry, like out loud to nobody, right?
Yeah.
Of course, as I'm waking up from being knocked out, there's no right. So I wake up, I'm like this nurse comes by and she goes, "Oh, hey Dave, how are you?" I go, "Graham crackers."
Juice box.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh," she goes, "Oh, would you like some apple juice too?" Yes.
Yep.
Oh, so that was a fun time. But yeah, no, I'm recovering. Everything's going fine. So, now I have heard that Brian Schottenheimer is going to put me in at tailback this weekend. So I'm not sure how long I'll be healthy after that. But
did they have anybody else? Anyone?
At this point, they're going to drive with George Pickens. All right. Cleveland should be joining us here in a bit. We're going to get started. Game by game recap of the previous week, time permitting, brief preview of the upcoming week. On my show notes for this week, I completely forgot to add the Thursday game. I think I was still so drugged up on Thursday, it didn't happen for me. But it was Buffalo beat Miami somehow, some way.
Yeah, Miami actually played a decent football game against Miami for, I think, what everybody was expecting. I mean, at least it was a test, right? I mean, Buffalo had to get after it a touch. Miami played, I think, better than everybody thought they would, but still, man, like, I don't know. It's a bummer. Just 2 seconds. I think Mike McDaniel was a breath of fresh air for a little while, and it's a bummer that it's just not going to work. Because I think there was honesty to some of what he did say to media members. Mm-hmm. I think he did try to put together an offense that was going to work with Tua down there. And with Tua, you need a very specific offense. It needs to be rhythm, timing rhythm, get them going kind of. I think Bryce Young is similar in that way, that he needs to be in tempo. Mm-hmm. It's just a bummer it didn't work, but clearly it's not working.
Yeah, no, very clearly it is not working down there in Miami. And yeah, if they lose their next 2 games, he might be in trouble, even though I think at that point it's a full-on tank, because without him, that offense is not going to do anything. But
nothing.
Buffalo, their next 4 games they're home against the Saints, then they play the University of Pittsburgh, then Lincoln
in Kansas,
High School,
or
my alma
the
mater.
ACC Pittsburgh. Which one?
I actually both of them at the same time, but it's not going to matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, and then a month from now they play against DeVry, and then they have their bye, so they will be 7-0.
DeVry,
yeah, coming off their bye. Yeah, so they're going to be 7-0 coming off their bye week. So good for Buffalo. Play to the Super Bowl probably goes through what's that, Ralph Wilson Stadium, the last year there. I think they're going to get home field advantage.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Yep. Okay, getting into the games that happened on Sunday. Packers at Browns. Browns win 13-10, and one of the most hilarious results I've seen in a long time. We had a bunch of jerko Packer fans all over social media talk about how they were going to go undefeated this year after 2 games, just to turn around and lay the biggest possible egg against the Cleveland Browns. The thing I noticed about this game is that the Browns have only one move, and that is rush the quarterback. But with Myles Garrett and Mason Graham, it is a very good move.
It's probably so they're like, how do I put this? They don't blitz at all because they don't need to.
Mm-mm.
And anytime you can get home with 4 guys as much as they do, it's a problem for offenses. But I think specific to Green Bay, I think, and I could be totally wrong about this, tell me. They're more of a finesse, and I know what they look like in week 1, but they're more of a finesse offensive line than a physical offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And Cleveland's size and their movement ability at that size, specific to Myles Garrett and Mason Graham, like you said, but there are other, interior and edge player, they're good too. To me, with what I saw from that game, they kind of punched Green Bay in the mouth repeatedly, and both on offense and defense. And Green Bay had no response to it, with the exception of turning to. They kind of turned into themselves a touch. They were pointing fingers at each other. I know Quinshon Judkins chipped Micah Parsons, and I think he tried to murder him, but it was perfectly legal. And Parsons spent the next, pretty much the entire huddle pointing at Quinshon Judkins and kind of yelling at him. And it's like, dude, like totally, it's a legal play. Like, what are you doing? But I do think that the Browns physically, manhandled Green Bay both on both sides of the ball. It was interesting. It was an interesting watch, but man, there was bad football in the afternoon, the early games on Sunday.
There was. Another thing in this game, Josh Jacobs, 16 carries for 30 yards.
Yep.
Quinshon Judkins, though, in his first real playing time, 18 carries, 94 yards, and a touchdown.
Yep.
And Dylan Sampson is already banished to the Phantom Zone. Comes out week 1, catches a touchdown. Week 2, catches a touchdown. This game played 5 snaps.
Yeah, Judkins is legit. I mean, there's a reason why they drafted him 35th overall? Whatever it was.
36, something like that, like right after Schlesinger, yeah.
Yeah, guys that big, that physical, with that kind of movement ability, that stuff translates.
Yep.
Quickly, yeah.
And walk-off field goal for Cleveland in this game, so that was fun. Next game here, Colts at the Titans. Colts win 41-20. I don't want to have anything too much about this game other than to say that the Titans are not very talented.
Yeah.
And their head coach is terrible. And they need to fire Brian Callahan. They can wait to the end of the season because who cares? But they need to fire Brian Callahan before next season, get a new coach in here for Cam Ward. This guy's clock management is terrible. His organization is terrible. Clearly just another Nepo baby. Probably doesn't deserve this position in the first place. So
do you feel like Cam Ward's growth as a player might be do you feel like he's getting Urban Meyered, so to speak? A touch?
I don't, because, and this is not for me because I'm not a film bro. I mean, I go and watch back the film from every Michigan game, but that's it. I'm not an NFL film bro. It's way more complicated. But I do have some film bros that I trust, and they are all saying that the difference in Cam Ward between week 1 and week 3 is massive.
Yeah, it's just I think their offense. I guess what I'm saying is their offense is to me, it looks really remedial.
Yeah,
and very basic. I don't know. I don't know what that means long term for Cam Ward. I don't know.
But even within that, his what they're talking about, his ability to read defenses and look at stuff and diagnose stuff, it's way better just 2 weeks later. So he's clearly still progressing. Whereas with Trevor Lawrence with Urban Meyer, did not progress at all. His second year was his rookie year. He might as well have hurt his knee like JJ McCarthy and never played. So yeah. I don't think it's quite the same. Also, Brian Callahan is a 10 times better coach than Urban Meyer in the NFL.
That's bad for Urban Meyer.
Yes. The Colts are 3-0. They are, in my opinion, an absolute lock to win this division.
Yeah.
And because this division is so bad, I think they are a sneaky threat for the number 1 overall seed.
I didn't think about any of that stuff, but it's totally valid.
Yeah, like they're going to be 6-0 in their division. Like the Jags and Texans, which we'll get to, like they're not doing nothing. And then the Titans are probably the worst of the 4. Although Houston is looking pretty horrible. So if that's like just 6 wins, lock it up right there.
Yeah.
Maybe the number 2 seed, maybe Buffalo and then Indy, something like that. So I think that will put a interesting wrinkle into the AFC playoffs this year. If the Colts are the 2 seed, right? Ravens are the 3, Chargers are the 4, Chiefs are the 5, right? So that the Chiefs have to go to the Chargers in the first week, but then the Steelers or somebody gets to go to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Could be something interesting there. Daniel Jones continues to look perfectly fine. Vikings 48, Bengals 10.
Just like everybody thought going into the season.
Yes.
Right.
Isaiah Rodgers, defensive back for the Vikings, scored 2 defensive touchdowns in the first half, 80-yard pick six and a 60-yard scoop and score. Pretty incredible there. Other than that, because those plays made this game so crazy, I don't have much to say about this other than that Jake Browning did not really look like he belonged on an NFL field. Although Brian Flores has an impact on people.
Yeah, but I mean, he looked like Jake Browning against a defense that at times, like, all right, you line up pre-snap in man, and then you go to some derivative of, some silly cover 2 on one side of the field and sort of a split zone look on the other side of the field. And then you change it. It's super confusing, I think, to even talk about, let alone to try to figure out as it's happening in front of you, but it's Jake Browning. So it's like,
yeah, I think the Bengals will have better days. This felt almost like how the Packers showed up against the Browns, except the Packers are so much better than the Browns. You can lose on a walk-off field goal in that situation. But the Vikings are like, hey, if you're going to play like that, we're gonna make it look really bad for you. So I don't think this game was indicative of what the Browning Bengals look like, but I think it does prove that they are no threat to actually do anything.
Yeah, I mean, they'd have to really. I don't know what they look like. I didn't watch that game, so I saw some of the highlights and that kind of stuff, but I don't know what they look like snap to snap. But defensively, they're not going to hang, even with a Carson Wentz led. Yes, exactly. Paul should host the show with you. he just typed one sentence, and I should just shut up and defer.
So because he's a Notre Dame fan, I was going to make an Irish need not apply joke, but I wasn't sure how to pull it off without somebody will take it out of context. So instead, I'm just going to explain the joke I had so nobody can take it out of the context. But in my head, it was hilarious.
All that matters.
Yeah, which is all that matters. My idea for the Bengals is to trade for Jameis Winston.
Sure.
Because you just need somebody, because you're going to lose. So you have somebody who could at least throw the ball down there to T and Chase and hope for something. You might steal 2 more wins.
I wonder if all the money, this is a total Mike Brown move, with all the money that the Giants have paid Russell Wilson, which is, I think, 80 or 90% of everything that's due this year, the Bengals could get him for almost nothing and pay him almost nothing. And that seems more of a Mike Brown kind of move than anything else. I don't know, though. Jameis would be great there. I mean,
yeah.
If that happens, if Jameis goes to Cincinnati, the receivers are going to go off. I mean, he's going to throw 4 or 5 picks a game. I mean, that's hyperbole. 3 or 4.
But he should. But that's probably the correct thing for them to do. Right? If the quarterback's not going to be good, they need to be aggressive because the receivers are good. So it's probably the correct. Like that's the correct way for them to lose, because it actually gives them the chance to string together 6 random wins and make the playoffs or something.
Yeah. The Chase Brown stuff is a little bit nuts. Like, it's crazy how ineffective that run game is. But,
So this is a point that Adam Levitan from Establish the Run made. He said that, when we're taking Chase Brown in the early to late third round of fantasy drafts in the offseason, his value comes from getting all the volume on a good offense. It doesn't come from him per se.
Yep.
But if the offense is bad now, then all that volume isn't going to mean anywhere near as much.
Well, bad and behind too. So if he's going to get anything in the passing game, it's going to be hurried sort of.
Right.
And I don't know if he's going to get that with Browning.
Yeah. So it's the Joe Burrow injury, I think, actually killed Chase Brown way more than Chase and Higgins.
Yeah. That's fair.
Steelers 21, Patriots 14. Really, really disappointing game for the Patriots. They should have won this game by 10 points. 2 goal line fumbles, including one that went for a touchback, and then another fumble by Antonio Gibson later in the game. Just really, 5 turnovers from New England is the reason why they lost this game. I thought down to down they were the better team.
Yeah, did you see the Drake May series of concussed Drake May? I don't know how so the NFL has spotters and they're supposed to do these things.
Yes.
He hit the back of his head on the turf,
Mm-hmm.
Throwing the ball, under duress, fell back, hit the back of his head on the turf. And really before you could react, like trying to react, he grabbed his head.
Yeah.
Like, something was off there. So then immediately it's like, that's strange that they don't, that's exactly what the spotters would be looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And then he throws this is down on the goal line too. And then he throws a pick 2 plays later where it's like, he just didn't see him. I mean, like defensive back was standing between him and the receiver. And it reminded me a lot of Tua, like 2 years ago when that happened, when he hit the back of his head and then he threw a bunch of picks in a row. And it's like, he's just not seeing these guys.
Right.
I was surprised that they didn't pull May. But yeah, I mean, I don't think Pittsburgh's a very good football team, but for New England, the turnovers is, and then it's like, what's going on with Travion Henderson?
Well, what's going on with Travion Henderson is that he's about to have that backfield to himself because Mike Vrabel is going to launch Ramondre Stevenson directly into the sun. Yes. Like, he might be the absolute worst coach to fumble twice on the goal line for.
Yeah, it's not
that. He is done. Like, he might as well just not even show up to practice. He ain't playing. Antonio Gibson then fumbles as well.
Yeah.
So, to me, it's coaching malpractice if Travion Henderson is not the lead back going forward in New England. And Mike Vrabel is many things, but malpractice coach is not one of them.
Yeah, I would think that you're onto that. It's just, I guess for me, the question is why is Henderson running behind both Stevenson and Gibson at this point? Was everything we hear in training camp and the preseason, did all that stuff just go away? Or and this is, I do think this is kind of dinosaur Mike Vrabel stuff. Does he have to surpass those guys to then take the backfield? And if so, he didn't surpass them so much as they gave it to him.
I don't think what we were hearing was fake. For one, we know Trey Henderson has the juice already. We saw him return kickoff for a touchdown in the preseason.
Yeah.
Right. For whatever reason, they don't have him out there. My guess it's something to do with pass protection. It's usually the case for running backs.
That's one of the things that he was best at, though.
Yes, at Ohio State, which is not an NFL offense.
I guess
it's a great college offense, and it's great for the wide receivers.
Yeah.
But it's whatever he had to do to pass protect at Ohio State probably doesn't translate. Like the things like the keys and the whatever. Like there's probably very little overlap there.
I'm going to stick my foot in my mouth terribly here. I don't know that there is a significant difference in pass pro. I mean, it's just math. That's terrible. It's not just math, but like if you're good at diagnosing blitzers in college, you should be good at diagnosing blitzers. I just say it's kind of, I know everybody's bigger and faster.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think there's going to be more in different types of blitzes. It's going to be more disguised. The the players are going to be bigger and stronger as well.
Yeah.
And he probably has more responsibility play to play. Like he might have to think, do I block or do I go for a pass here? Do I block this way and leak that way, or do I do this or do this? Or so how is this either blocking or you're going up for a pass, and then that's that.
It just would be like, it's confusing because if you're a good pass protector in college, generally you bring that's a tool you put in the bag and you bring with you. I don't know how he would go from, I guess that's all I'm saying, how he would go from probably one of the better, if not the best pass protectors as for a running back in college last year to being unplayable, like behind Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson, because he suddenly, it's like a guy, I mean, like, did you suddenly forget how to shoot the ball? You know, like, it's just weird. It's a weird thing.
I think it's more like going from being a high-level figure skater to being a hockey player. So, like, yes, the base level stuff is still there and still excellent. You can move your way around the ice. But what you're doing on the ice is now completely different, and there's some other skills involved that you have to do there. So that's where I think it's a little bit different. And also, he probably wasn't actually that far behind the other two. Your earlier point of like Vrabel being a boomer is probably influencing that. So like Henderson's pass blocking wasn't great. And so he's like, well, you're not playing until you can block, because like in his head, he knows he can do it. And so he's like trying to use this for like boomer motivation, even though this doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, this boomer recognizes that boomer. that is total dinosaur stuff.
Wait a second. You are squarely Gen X.
I'm 55, but dude, you heard my landline ring like a month ago. Come on.
Yeah, you're 1970. You're not a boomer. You're not even close to being a boomer. That's not even close.
See, that's boomer shit right there. I don't even know what I am.
But yeah, I think Trey Henderson's taking over here pretty soon. Texans at Jaguars. Okay, full disclosure. For each game, I go through and I put in all my little notes. And then I ask chat to add any other notes that I may not have thought of from the game, right? It just skipped this one. Like, it just skipped the Texans and Jaguars. Like, it didn't offer anything. And it's not because my notes are so great. It's just me being snarky about the Texans. Like, it was just like, you know what? This game doesn't exist to me. So my note here is that the Texans are totally broken. They can't run, can't pass protect. Their defense remains elite, but this team is going nowhere fast. Should C.J. Stroud inform them that he won't sign an extension there quietly so they can move him this offseason?
I don't know, man. I don't know what he is at this point. I know he had a great rookie season. I did not think they were going to be very good this year. I don't know if you remember it, but I didn't think they were going to be very good.
You were on that.
Just because the O-line is just, and he's not like, he's mobile. He's plenty mobile enough, but his game is all about pocket passing and just being super accurate pretty much everywhere he throws the ball. And he just doesn't have time right now. And I think losing a guy like Tank Dell, who is very, very clearly a critical piece to that offense, is a problem for them. I don't understand. It's maddening, but you drafted Jaden Higgins and you drafted specifically Jalen Noel, who is a he's not Tank Dell, because you got to do it in the NFL before you can say stuff like that. But like from a college standpoint, he was a great route runner at Iowa State. It was the strength of his game. I thought it was very specifically targeted for him to go to Houston to replicate some of what Dell was doing as a route runner to kind of unlock the other stuff. And they're just not playing him.
So I think that's true, but you have to remember when it's this early in the season, only the either most fantastic rookies will see a lot of playing time or the most desperate teams. Jalen Noel, everything you said about him could be true, and he could still be behind Christian Kirk legitimately right now.
But Christian Kirk didn't play in week 1 and in week 2. He was out.
That is
bizarre.
A phenomenal point.
And if I can think, and listen, dumb as a stump at times, almost all the time. If I look at the Texans and I think their offensive line is going to give them significant problems, wow, like you are NFL people. You should kind of should know this. You know what I mean? Like it's almost malpractice not to plan for, all right, we're going to have problems. We need to prepare for this and give our quarterback a chance. They're just not doing it.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, which is why I think CJ Stroud should quietly after the season just tell them, I'm not signing an extension here. If you franchise me twice, whatever, I'm not signing here. So
that would be crazy. But
if it's quiet, it's so the other teams don't know something that they have to do. Depending on how the board falls for the draft, you've got a team who's picking like 8th but needs a quarterback. Yeah. And they're thinking about trading up for it instead, but instead they can just flip 8 for CJ Stroud, something like that. They might look to do that instead. Like it'd be a win-win all the way around. Now if he was public about it, this wouldn't work because they can never get full value. They should just franchise him twice and they'll fuck off. But if they can just do it quietly, to where like the other team, it's like a Luka Doncic thing. They're like, you're gonna what?
I'm trying to trade who that in a year or 2 years might be in a situation, and I know it's probably a huge list because it's not. CJ Stroud's a really good quarterback.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like who's a team that could finish with like the 12th overall pick and could also really use a quarterback.
The Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be kind of a really interesting place for him.
Yep.
I mean, there's a bunch where I think that it would make some sense.
Right, to where they're probably not going to be able to draft the quarterback of their choice. Pittsburgh, right? Pittsburgh's picking 16th in the draft. We'll give you 16 for Stroud when they know Stroud will never resign there.
Yeah.
So they go to like, hey, we'll send you Stroud for your 16th. Pittsburgh stat calls and then extends them probably, right?
You would think. I would think that there's a bunch of teams that would be very interested.
They should be thinking a bit more outside the lines here. I think they could get quite a haul for that. The Jaguars won this game because somebody had to. I wasn't impressed at all.
Yeah, we've been listening to Clev for a while talk about Trevor Lawrence. I still don't know what to think. I mean, he's clearly not playing well at all. But here comes the but, I guess. Their receivers are not helping him. There's a lot of dysfunction in and around that passing game right now. I don't want to blame Shane Waldron for it because he's a part of that down there. He's their passing game coordinator. He's not their offensive coordinator. He's not their head coach. So I don't know how much you would put on Waldron because we've seen him fail at multiple places, but it looks stagnant.
Shane Waldron is a fail no matter how he is, and he should not be associated with the organization. If I own a football team, I don't even let him go to the games. That is an employee. Like he could not buy tickets to go to a game. I don't even want him in the building.
Stay away.
It's to the point to where I might not even hire anybody with the name Shane or Waldron, like just to be absolutely sure that this is not going to happen.
It's reasonable. I don't know if you saw Liam Cohen's comments today, but it was very telling that he was being pressed as to why Travis Hunter isn't getting more snaps on offense or defense. And he said that would come in future years.
Yeah.
And it's like, does that mean Travis Hunter's usage is going to be what it is in year one? And if so, why did you give up? I mean, Cleveland has their first round pick next year, right? Like it's just bizarre. Brian Thomas Jr. does not look like the same guy.
Yes.
I wonder.
Oh, go ahead. You first.
I wonder. And if you look this up, it's right on, but I think it's more, I don't know if it's exactly spot on I'm going to say it. You tell me. If you look at his usage last year, his game logs, they were reasonable through like, I think October 7th, and Trevor Lawrence got hurt and Mac Jones just locked on to him and fed him over. And then his target volume, I want to say he was around 6 or 7 targets a game until Mac Jones showed up. And then it went to like 10 to 12 range. And now it's back down to what it was last year when he didn't look like such a breakout. And I wonder if Brian Thomas Jr. was a Mac Jones sort of product in year one, and we were all just a little bit too high on what he was going to be with Trevor Lawrence.
So that's a fair thought, but I do believe this is a correlation does not equal causation situation.
That's why I premised it. I didn't know. I don't know.
So like the facts are true. He played a lot better with Mac Jones last year. However, as I just mentioned, rookies get better as the year goes on. So he also did better at the end of last year.
Right.
It would be more meaningful if Trevor Lawrence missed like the first half of the year. BJJ killed it with Mac Jones and then fell off when Lawrence came back. Also, wide receiver regression at such a young age is very rare without some sort of like really strange circumstance, right?
Yeah.
Running backs, it can happen. Defensive players like Sauce Gardner, it can happen. But wide receivers, like once you're like, I can get open and get targets, you can get open and get targets, right? 2 years ago, Shane Waldron is in Seattle. Jackson Smith-Njigba has a very disappointing rookie season. Last year, he leaves. Jackson Smith-Njigba emerges one of the top 10 wide receivers in the NFL, probably certainly by stats and by usage. In fact, he's so good that they tell Tyler Lockett to go kick rocks and trade DK Metcalf away for a bag of footballs.
Yeah. And he's gonna be a 120 catch guy this year.
Yes, and then Shane Waldron ends up at the Bears, where they spent the 9th overall pick on Rome Odunze, who has a very disappointing rookie year, does not look good at all. And now this year, Shane Waldron is gone, and Rome Odunze is the number one wide receiver on the Bears. He is their number one. It is week 3. He is the number one option, right? DJ Moore could be on the trade block. Right. It is Rome Odunze is the man there in the passing game.
And he's a
week
dude.
3. Yes. He is worthy of his draft position.
Yeah.
And now Shane Waldron is in Jacksonville with Brian Thomas Jr. To me, the most consistent pattern here is that Shane Waldron does not know how to maximize the output from his star wide receivers. He simply isn't capable of doing it. I don't
know. The whole thing is prefaced in I don't know what influence he has on the passing game, but he is their passing game coordinator. So, like, he's the constant. He's the sort of constant where it's all sort of muddy and confusing. And then he's not there and players blow up. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just too consistent of a pattern to really be anything else.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think Liam Cohen, who is very young, is going to figure this out sooner rather than later. And I think Shane Waldron won't make it to Halloween.
So that's the question about Liam Cohen is you made the choice to bring him on. Is that an indictment on Liam Cohen going forward? Maybe, I don't know, but he is a very smart guy who put together a very detailed, successful, very potent offense with Tampa Bay. So I would hope, and if you're a Jags fan, you cross your fingers and you hope he can get it figured out. But I don't know.
Yeah. So the Jags are terrible. I thought they would win a bunch of games this year. They're terrible. The Texans are competing for the number 1 overall pick. And so are the Titans, which is why the Colts are going to win 6 games in their division. They have a 6-game head start in their division, plus a couple wins outside of it already.
Lock it up. Yeah.
They are going to be a 1, 2, or 3 seed.
So are they going to rest Jonathan Taylor like starting in week 9? Is that going to be a thing? I'm kidding. But you know what I mean?
I was going to say no, because they're not actually that good themselves. It's situational. Kidding. Okay. Sorry, Tylenol.
You're good.
Falcon 0, Panthers 30.
I was thinking about you as that was playing out. Like, this is worst case scenario. It just is. And then when Cousins rolls in the 4th quarter, I'm thinking Dave has got to be having an aneurysm. Has to be. That's not funny. But
Michael Penix played one of the worst games of NFL quarterback I've ever seen.
It was bad. Yeah.
Besides somebody who shouldn't be in there. It was better than Ian Book and Kendall Hinton, but it was horrific. And this is another game where the Panthers won 30-0, and I was not impressed with them at all.
Yeah.
This is just all about how truly
How good
terrible.
does Tet look, by the way?
Oh, great.
For all the drama and all the nonsense in the run-up in the draft, like, come on.
Yeah.
He's a dude.
Yeah. Tet McMillan and Drake London are the Spider-Man meme pointing at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're the exact same player.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Tet looks great. In fact, in my work league this week, I'm having to decide between Tet and Zay Flowers.
Good luck.
Despite losing CD Lamb, because that's how deep I'm at receiver, because I know what I'm doing.
Take that, work people.
Yeah. Yeah, I still have J-Mo and Adunze on that team too. So
how many? What is this? A 4-man league? What's happening?
12.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's loaded.
Yep, and I've got Lamar and Bowers and CD, plus all them receivers.
Who do you have at running back?
My first running back I took was RJ Harvey. My primary running back is Jordan Mason. I have Bayashel Tootin, of course. And then I have the two premium handcuffs in Tyler Algier and Braylon Allen.
Yeah, you're good.
So, yep. That'll do. Although I will say CD Lamb going out on the before you get register a stat, not the greatest.
Not. Yeah.
Bryce Young was fine in this game, but really this game was about how bad the Falcons were. I got nothing really on the Panthers out of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's when games are not competitive, it's hard to take much out of it.
Okay, I'm going to skip the next game on my list here, hoping that Cleve will be able to join us. If not, we'll come back to it in a little bit.
Okay.
For those that don't know, Cleve is a fan of the New York Jets. So we'll come back to that one. Raiders 24, Commanders 41. I'm not going to lie. I actually forgot this game happened.
Yeah.
And that's how bad of a coach. That's how bad of a coach Pete Carroll is. You have Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers, and I forget that your game occurred.
Yep. Genty looked a little better, but he's still like. There's a stat out there, and I don't exactly know the context of it, but it was. Again, I don't know the context. You know what stat I'm talking about?
I
right?
do.
100. Can you explain to me what's 101% mean?
Okay,
I didn't give it a look. I'm like, I just saw it. That's
okay. So it's a different stat. Then it's a different stat. What's your stat? You tell me first.
I don't even know. I just saw 101% of his yards came after contact or something like that. It can't be more. It can't be 101%.
Yeah,
but I don't know what the stat is.
Yes, it can, because if the advanced stat is counting from contact that happens behind the line of scrimmage,
which is almost every carry he gets.
Yes, then it will count yards that don't count towards his official numbers, right?
Okay.
So if he has to get hit 3 yards behind the line, then it runs for 10 yards, then he gets 10 yards, but he actually got 13 yards after contact. You could have 101% of your yards then.
All right. I didn't know what it meant, but I laughed at it. Like that seems like a big number.
57% of his carries, he's either getting contacted or having to force a missed tackle in the backfield.
Yep.
Barry Sanders style numbers.
That's not a winning formula.
Yeah. And I think for Barry's career, I saw somewhere a while ago, it was like 29%.
Yeah.
And it felt like it was always the thing with him. Like, can somebody please block for this guy? And Genty's running like 2x worse than that so far this season. Anyways, horrible pick for the Raiders, taking Ashton Genty. They were not anywhere near in a position to take him because they're in no position to use him.
Yeah, they're not. They're not going to win games. They're not going to challenge right now. Yeah,
especially because the Bears were desperate to trade up to take him.
Yeah.
So this is actually back-to-back years now. The Rams were desperate to trade up for Bowers.
Yep.
And then the Bears just would trade up for Genty. Brock Bowers, like I said, I think he's going to walk into the Hall of Fame, and we'll be talking about him or Gronk as the best to ever do it by the time he's done. But still, he's not going to help them win games anywhere near in the short term. They're probably better off building their team, accepting both of those trades back-to-back years.
Probably.
And not having these players.
Yeah, probably.
Especially because running back and tight end are not the most valuable positions.
Yeah, and I wonder how much you forced the Geno Smith thing, because you did have you did have Bowers, and you were planning on. It's just it's not super efficient what they've done.
Yeah, Marcus Mariota comes in, looks fine. His best play of the game was just absolutely running over Dan Quinn on the sideline.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn, by the way, much tougher man than I am. I would still be on the ground.
I don't think the bridge of the nose, right?
Yeah, I don't think he took off a week from work because he got a lipoma removed. I think he was back in the office the next day. I don't think
Don't be so hard on yourself.
Hey, listen, some people have a high pain tolerance and other people are Dave. That's just how it goes. But yeah, Dan Quinn, he didn't see it coming. So he got completely wiped out. And he's what now? 50-some?
Yeah, I think so. He's probably my age in that range.
Yeah. So quick, I want you to just get run over by Marcus Mariota in full football gear, but you don't see it coming, Scott. How quickly before you're back to work?
What's my job?
Does it matter?
Oh.
I think you'd still be in bed. Like, I think you would still be in bed right now if that happened to you on Sunday.
I would like to think not, but I'm certain you're probably right.
So shout out to Dan Quinn for that. Other than that, I don't have very much on this game. I don't think you take much from the Commanders with Mariota at quarterback. He plays the same style as Jaden Daniels, but he can't do it as well. Terry McLaurin did hurt his quad in this game. He looks like he's going to miss this next week.
I would be a little spooked about McLaurin's injury for one specific reason, and it's not great. He went to a pretty recognized doctor for core muscle injuries. And that can lead to some quad stuff. But if he's going to see a doctor for a core muscle injury, that is much longer term than 1 week.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see what comes of it, but
I'm here for the drama. I'm here for the drama. I want him to have known about his core muscle injury during the contract negotiations. So the Commanders to come in and try to avoid it, and we get this huge argument back and forth. In which case, I will still back McLaurin because they never should have signed him without giving him his own physical. So this probably isn't the case, but I hope that it is because I live for this sort of labor drama. And of course, it would dominate the local news here in the DMV.
I'm sure it would.
Rams 26 at the Eagles 33. Absolutely insane game. The Rams were up 26-7 at halftime.
And the Eagles were being called washed.
Yes.
And this team sucks. All of it. Yeah. As soon as Devontae Adams dropped a touchdown pass in like the late third quarter, it was like, the Rams are losing this game.
Do not open the door for the Eagles.
Do not. Yes.
So
it's interesting too, because I don't know who the offensive. I don't know exactly what's happening in Philly, but they had to open things up in the second half, and suddenly AJ Brown's dominant. And you got these guys all over the place. Let them be, the players who can carry you. But a tale of two halves, man. That relates to the point I was trying to make in the offseason that the best contingent upside running back play in fantasy drafts is AJ Brown. Because if something happens to Saquon, AJ Brown is going to catch 139 passes. Yep.
So when they are forced to throw, they can throw.
Yeah.
And we saw that here. Couple interesting stats. Puka had 11 catches for 112 yards. Unguardable.
Yep.
Locked in. Like, this dude is. I think Puka Nacua is the closest thing I have seen to Jerry Rice since Jerry Rice.
That's high praise.
It is. Now, he's not going to do it for as long because he keeps getting hurt.
Yeah.
But how is this dude always open? He cannot be that fast. I watch him run. He's not that fast.
Yeah.
He's not overly athletic. What in the world is happening here? He has 100 yards again. And if you put Puka Nacua on the 80s 49ers, he would put up very similar numbers to what Rice did. I mean, I think just stylistically, when I watch him, I'm like, this is what Jerry Rice looked like.
It helps for him that he's drawing number 2 cornerbacks, which is absurd. It's dirty. that
Yes.
that the Rams are in that scenario where that happens. Like,
Yeah.
and in that game, as just an aside, Lane Johnson got hurt, but man, the Rams just, Jalen Hurts just got pounded in that game.
Yes. Yeah.
Over and over. There were
Yeah,
times like Jared Verse lit him up at one point, and it was like, I don't know how he gets up.
That's the play I was going to talk about. It's one of my favorite plays in football. It's the blind side sack, but from the front.
Yeah.
So the quarterback's eyes are downfield, so he doesn't see, even though it's like going to view by the time you realize it's way too late. Yeah, one of my favorite plays. Yeah, Jared Verse destroyed him there. But Clev mentioned in our offline group chat that the Eagles just always find a way. They never give up. They always persevere. So to that end, the Eagles have played 20 games when Hurts, Saquon, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith all start the game and finish the game. Of those 20 games, how many have they won?
20.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. They are undefeated with all of them starting and finishing the game. An unreal stat right there.
Yeah.
So the Eagles come back. They win this game. Absolutely huge for them. Huge for future playoff stuff in the NFL. Just, the Rams, I think, can take a lot of pride away from this game for going forward as being like a legitimate contender, being able to beat good teams on the road, all that, because they will have to do that in the playoffs. But the most important thing in this game is how it ended.
The Jordan Davis walk-off?
Rams are down 27-26. They're attempting a walk-off field goal. Jordan Davis busts through the line, blocks it, falls on it, game over. Nope, scoops it up, runs 300 yards the other way.
Jordan Davis.
Yeah, 300. He said he's dropped down to 330.
Okay.
He said he lost 30 pounds. So now he is at 330 from last season. And he said he said in an interview after with Maria Taylor that he felt very light on his feet.
Right.
Yeah. So he houses the kick. He blocks it, scoops it, runs it all the way back. Couple interesting things. One, Eagles cover.
Yeah.
I love when it happens that way. I didn't bet on that game. I don't bet aside the totals in the NFL very often because they're always so efficient. But great way to get a cover. Wish I was in a sports book in Vegas when this happened. Would have been really fun. That is the longest block kick return by a player over 300 pounds ever. And he clocked in at 18.15 miles per hour on that run.
It's remarkable.
I think Jordan Davis is a straight line faster runner than Blake Corum.
He might be. He might be.
I mean, as I was watching it happen, I was actually kind of, I don't want to say scared, so scared is not right, but it's almost like, Paul, help me out here. I know you know this stuff. When you see like a robot who's mostly human, but not quite all the way, and it's freaky. Like that. Like, I'm watching Jordan Davis run this ball, and I'm like, this is not correct.
Yeah.
Was
there some dissonance happening in like, this isn't normal, shouldn't be happening?
Yeah, but not that I couldn't understand it, but just like, yeah, it was unsettling.
Yeah.
Uncanny Valley. Thank you, Paul. The Uncanny Valley. Yes, there was an Uncanny Valley effect watching a man that big run that fast and that smooth and pull away. Like, his teammates were trying to catch him to celebrate, and they couldn't catch him.
Yeah.
It was amazing and unsettling and awesome all at the same time. And if he's feeling lighter on his feet and he's better now at 330, what if he gets down to 315 but maintains his strength?
See, I don't know that. I mean, I don't know what Philly's got going on, but I wouldn't think that they would want him doing that. He needs the mass because they're having him play, in the very middle there.
Yeah, but what if
Carter needs to be,
Yes, but like
dialed up.
What if for Jordan Davis, what if it was all bad weight? Like, what if he is whatever his optimal weight is, what if they get him there? Because then I think his ceiling explodes.
Oh, could. Yeah,
for that point. So, like, if he was 360 but should have been 320, he's carrying around 40 extra pounds of bad weight on him. Yeah, that could be something for them there. Okay, we're going to move into the afternoon game, so we are going to go back. So I don't think Cleve will be joining us tonight, unfortunately. He did warn us that he had a crazy work day today.
Yeah.
So we will talk about the Jets and the Bucks. Jets 27, Bucks 29. Stressful game for me. I had the Bucks all over in Survivor picks this week. They're up 26 to who cares into the fourth quarter. I'm not even paying attention about, okay, that's done. I don't sweat that anymore. Then I turn around and the Jets are within a score. The Bucks are going to kick a field goal with about 1:50 left to go up by 9 points, put this game away. And a man that you and I both predicted to be Defensive Rookie of the Year a couple years ago, Will McDonald IV, jumps over the center.
Yep.
And I immediately saw a lot of people ask online and in chats, isn't that illegal? It's only illegal if you touch the player.
You can't touch him. Yeah.
You can't touch him. But if you could just straight up standing jump over an NFL center, then I guess good for you.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. Jumps over the center. I thought he could have just taken the kick away from the holder.
I'll take that. Thank you very much.
He was there so fast. Like he could have just reached down and grabbed it. Like he could have loosied the kicker himself if he had wanted to. Instead, it gets kicked like into his chest. Ball goes flying towards the end zone. Then he, in full stride, scoops it, runs it back. Touchdown. Jets take the lead 27-26.
Aaron Glenn goes off on the sideline.
Oh,
it's
the Aaron Glenn stuff. Unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable. I know they ended up losing this game, and like Jim Rome was giving him grief for being so excited they ended up losing.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't care because one, he wasn't like that after they lost. An amazing play for a team that needed anything like that to happen. And most importantly to me, with anything like this, it was authentic.
Oh, yeah.
He was not being performative. He wasn't like, I'm going to be on Sports Center tonight. They're going to make memes about me. I'm going to like, it was just, that is what he wanted to do that moment. Sprint down the sideline, windmilling like the Who, and then doing some like really weird old head dance, but still looking really good doing it.
Yeah. I don't know what it was, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
I wish I could.
It was awesome. I love to see it. And did you see the folks setting it to Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Of course, it's spectacular.
Yeah, just an amazing moment. But then the third most clutch quarterback in football, Baker Mayfield, behind Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, leads the Bucks down the field, nice and easy. Chase McLaughlin clicks his like 97th field goal of the day.
Yep,
and they win. So Bucks win the game. Jets fall to 0-3. Mike Evans, though, hamstring injury, out for a while.
Yeah. Ironically, Godwin may be returning this week, which we may see the future soon. The Igbuka Godwin sort of, the future without Mike Evans. What does that look like? Because Igbuka looks pretty good.
Well, my prediction is that the Mike Evans replacement next year is going to be George Pickens. Because because it's not going to go well for Dallas, which we'll get to, and he is not going to do well with it not going well. He's going to wear out his welcome.
Yeah.
My actual hope for this season is that George Pickens calls Jerry Jones the N-word, but like as a slur, not as like a hey man, what's up? How you doing? Like
ridiculous.
He'll still soft A it, of course, but just like he's so mad on the sideline. Phenomenal. Especially since Jerry Jones was there to yell at the Little Rock 9. I think it's just be like a great, like, just circle back moment for him. Nope, already did that one. I forgot to skip ahead. Saints 13 at the Seahawks 44. Is there literally anything to say about this game?
No.
Because I have one thing.
No. Go.
Toria Horton is a baller.
Yep.
He's already hit. If he's on any sort of waiver anywhere, he needs to be added immediately.
Yeah.
Went to Colorado State. Shout out Colorado State, my alma mater. And 95-yard punt return TD and the touchdown catch. But that punt return, seeing how he moved the ball in his hands, it's like, no, this should have been a second round receiver.
I want to say he was hurt. He was hurt and wasn't fully ready to run, but still ran like low 4.4s.
Yeah. He went in the 5th round and never should have. And Smith and Jigba and Torrey Horton will be the pairing and stay there for a long time. Cleve, welcome in.
What's up, guys? You can hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you. You got a bit of a lag, but we can hear you. I just gave up on you being able to join us. We just talked about the Jets. I skipped it and waited, but then we just got back to it and talked about the Jets.
Didn't miss nothing, I guess.
What did you think of Aaron Glenn's celebration after the?
I think it was a bit premature, but I get the energy. It should have been a win. Weird Sunday with a lot of these block punts, block kicks. I cannot recall a time when we had so many block kicks. So he had the right idea. I just wish we won.
Yeah, I mean, winning, of course, would have made it even better. But I was just saying a little bit ago, I loved how authentic it was. Like, it was really him. That's how he really is. Like, Todd Bowles ain't never doing that.
Yeah.
So you came and we're discussing Saints 13, Seahawks 44. Break it down for us. Everything.
Moving along.
Yeah. Nothing to see here.
Yeah. Broncos 20 at Chargers 23. Second straight week the Broncos lose on a walk-off field goal.
That's brutal. It's a fun game, though. It's a fun game.
Yeah, it was a great game. Yeah, really fun game to watch. Chargers had to come back at the end. R.I.P. to Najee Harris. Tore his Achilles at 27 years old. He wasn't really good in the first place.
Just brutal.
And enjoy retirement. Yeah. You've got millions of dollars in your entire life ahead of you. Sorry this happened to you. See you never.
Yeah. The only guy in that spot that was worth that was I think it was Adrian Peterson. Well, he didn't tear his Achilles, tore his ACL and came back.
Yeah.
But he's done for the season. You're 27. That cliff is approaching. You're done. You're probably done, bro.
Yep. So Marion Hampton had, got all the run. He's going to continue to get all the run for the Chargers. 19 carries, 70 yards, and a touchdown. Herbert continued to look good. My question for you, Cleaver Scott, anybody, through 3 weeks, the worst quarterback in EPA per play, so expected points added per play, the 31st worst quarterback, second to last is J.J. McCarthy. Who's the worst? Scott.
Rattler?
Bo Nix.
Oh,
it is Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Kind of out of nowhere, Bo Nix sucks.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's got some okay numbers, but when you look at it just on a per play basis, he is the worst starting quarterback in football.
Wow. And didn't see that coming.
Did not. No, really sort of hamstrings my Broncos are going to win the West argument.
It seems bad now, but they've been in these games. I think they've led both those games in the fourth quarter. So they're right there.
Which speaks volumes to the Broncos are going to win the West argument. So who knows? Maybe if they get back to having league average quarterback play, they can win these games. Chargers are 3-0. Jim Harbaugh does not play around. He builds winners immediately everywhere that he is. They made the playoffs last year. They're 3-0 now. The Chiefs and Ravens play each other this week. If the Ravens win and the Chiefs fall to 1-3, and the Chargers, who will be 4-0 because they get to go against Jackson Dart, they'll have a 3-game lead on Kansas City with tiebreakers over them and the Broncos.
Yeah.
That Jim Harbaugh is a weird individual, and I think if I knew him personally, I wouldn't even like him. But that dude can coach football.
Can I tell you something, Dave? It's really interesting. I saw him interact with the media for a long time, and I thought he was this guy. Like, pretty clear that this is the guy he is.
Mm-hmm.
And then multiple situations where you meet with him or speak with him, and not just 10 minutes, but spend a day with the Michigan football team kind of thing. and with no media around, totally different guy.
Mm-hmm.
It was very obvious he loved his players. It was very obvious his players loved him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just a much more relaxed version of himself. And the takeaway for me was his blood pressure's got to be so high coming off the field after these games that his interactions with the media is just a product of, personality, whatever you want to call it, and blood pressure being a trillion, and him just not really able to handle all that stuff. But I thought the same stuff that I'm not sure if I'm going to care for this guy. And I walked away from it thinking totally different vibes around about him as a coach. Like, of all the places I've been interacting with players, with like old Notre Dame coaches, if you know what I'm talking about, and other, I would have been totally comfortable sending my kid to play for Jim Harbaugh, even with this whole, he's a hard ass kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's what he is. I think that's just an image thing that maybe the media gets out of him, because he's clearly antagonistic with the media, but that's really not who he is in front of his players and in and around practice. No yelling, none of that stuff.
So what's interesting there is that it sounds like when he's not in front of the media, he's out more like his brother.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is a thought I've had over the last couple of years as I've been discovering about myself and stuff. Cleve, I'm sure you can see my name here on the screen. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what I'm referencing. One thought I've had, and you don't want to diagnose somebody that you don't know personally, but you just sort of observe and whatever. And I would not be shocked to find out that Jim Harbaugh's coaching is also sponsored by Tylenol. And that would give a lot of credence to what you're saying, Scott, because it means that he can be himself when he's comfortable.
Yeah.
And then when he's if he's uncomfortable in front of the media.
I had no interest in saying it like I didn't want to go there with it, but that's kind of what I was intimating. Like,
yes, if he's uncomfortable in front of the media and he isn't aware of his own what's going on, how he's in front of the media could also be his authentic self. It's like, this is when I'm educated.
How dug in he gets in certain instances too.
Yes.
Like, no, I'm right. I'm right.
Yeah.
I will not back down. Yeah.
And he and I would have handled the NCAA situation about both paying for the cheeseburger and Connor Stanley is probably the same way. Although, to be fair, I never would have hired him because my mind would not have been so singularly focused. I would have seen that crazy lunatic coming from a mile away. But like the way he told the NCAA, just go kick rocks. I'm going to the NFL. I'm not cooperating with anything. Peace out. Like, that's also what I would have done in his situation. So, yeah, I do think there's a lot of credence to that he's just so uncomfortable dealing with the media or interacting with strangers even maybe that he can't be himself. And then when you see him in his full, regular, normal environment, he's basically John.
Like totally like a good guy. I remember a player, an offensive tackle, got hurt and dislocated his ankle down on the goal line, and important player. Yeah. And the team was very upset. And the way he handled it was just like, this is exactly why people would send their kids to you. Mm-hmm. He didn't raise his voice. He explained what was going on. He didn't leave it out like, oh, we don't know. You guys aren't going to know what's going on. He told them everything that they knew. Mm-hmm. He handled it perfectly. He handled it with care and consideration. And then he went to everybody after to make sure they were okay. And I was just like floored by it. Like, this is unbelievable. He didn't raise his voice. It blew me away leaving there. Like, totally different vibe around what I saw that day.
Yeah.
It was good.
Well, that's very interesting. And yeah, thank you for that because you have so much firsthand experience with the Michigan football program. So, you obviously get to be around the coaches. Can you make sure Sherrod Moore takes a risk management course?
Yeah, I got nothing going there, buddy.
Okay, give him my number. Yeah, he might need one of them. Cardinals 15 at the 49ers 16. This game sucked. And I'm not surprised by that, but it shouldn't have. We got two horrible drops on Marvin Harrison Jr. in this game. to where I think he has to change his name. I don't think he gets to go by Marvin Harrison with drops like that.
Wow.
Like, because Marvin Harrison would never. So
his approach to catching the specific to the 2 passes he dropped is like your hand's got to be up here, right? Mm-hmm. To catch that pass. And he's kind of doing this thing, right? And it's like, no, you want to go secure the ball as soon as you can, attack the ball. Yes. But the underhanded sort of, like you said, the basket catching thing, it just leads to problems. I don't know where that's coming from, though.
Yeah, because that's not a. I mean, Dad didn't coach that. Like, and I'm pretty sure he's had training from Chris Carter since he was like 6.
Right, like he's standing on the he's 80 yards out in the middle of the fairway and he knocks one out of bounds. You're like, no, you got the yips, dude. Something's going on.
Yeah, there's definitely something happening upstairs with him right now, because that's not like a habit he had coming into the league that he had to fix. This is all stuff from out of nowhere. And also the pass that he dropped in the field of play where he tries to basket catch it. Part of the reason you want to catch a ball with your hands, besides the fact that it's better, is that if you take your eye off the ball, it's easier to still catch it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you're just using just your hands to corral. So if you're going like this, it's still just your hands instead of going like this. Because that's what happened. Pass coming in, he's actually looking to make a move, takes his eye off at the last second, which I bet he's actually able to do when he catches with his hands. I bet he does that all the time, and we never know.
Yeah.
But this time he ends up dropping it because of the technique is poor. And he just needs he needs to just get right. He needs, I don't know what he needs, but it is not working out for him the way that it's supposed to be. But the talent is there, and we'll see if he gets back to that. So that didn't help. Also didn't help in this game. We're going to start with the injury I don't care about first. Nick Bosa tears his ACL. He's out for the season. Oh my God, so sad. Oh no. But also, James Conner suffered an ankle injury so bad. He needed the cart. Cleveland, that's your boy right there. I felt so bad for him seeing that come out. Very similar to Najee Harris. 30 years old now. Probably on the final contract anyway.
Season
ending injury. I'm afraid that might be it for James Conner. And for a player that good who overcame so much to mean so much to 2 organizations, I really wanted him to be able to go out on his own terms, right? Announce his retirement, that sort of thing, and not sort of be forced into it this way. So I feel really bad for him because I think that might have been it.
Yeah. Agreed.
And then Mac Jones is the quarterback on the other side. So this added up to being a really crappy game, but the 49ers still managed to win at the very end. And the 49ers they're still going to win 12 to 14 games this year.
Yeah, you did say that, if I remember correctly, you did say that they might have a better record or just as good, but it's not going to be sexy.
Right. This game, they have no George Kittle, no Brandon Ayuk, no Juwan Jennings.
No Purdy.
No Purdy. Win anyways. Right? Yeah, so the 49ers are going to be a team that we are very annoyed by because they're going to matter a lot, even though they're going to be boring all year long. Christian McCaffrey continues to lead the league in touches, averaging like 28 touches per game. If he ever figures out how to score touchdowns again, he'll be an unstoppable force in fantasy. All right, game of the week. Cowboys 14 at the Bears 31.
That's the game of the week?
It is when you're making content.
Okay.
So first, a lot of like football stuff happened in this game, like real football stuff. But I want to start. We'll talk about the Cowboys and their high-level absolute failure as an organization. Jerry Jones is so incompetent that CeeDee Lamb is going to miss 4 weeks. Jerry Jones wants to be the GM. He can't do it. He's terrible at it. So they don't even need to go to running backs. Javonte Williams goes out, gets the ball. This is a fumble. Gets the ball ripped out of his hands. So they come back and decide what we're going to do is they're going to try to do a running play with CeeDee Lamb. Okay, are you going to do a jet sweep? Are you going to do sort of weird motion handoff sort of thing? No, we're going to line up in a normal ace formation and run a halfback off tackle with CeeDee Lamb. Goes down awkward, high ankle sprain, out 3 to 4 weeks at least. But since he's a wide receiver, a high ankle sprain means he won't be back to full health till like Thanksgiving. Who made the decision to do this? That'd be Brian Schottenheimer. Who is Brian Schottenheimer? Nobody knows or cares, but he's Marty's kid. So now he's the head coach of the Cowboys, despite not having the CV or the resume to have this position. Because no real coach wants to go coach for Jerry Jones. Ben Johnson didn't even consider the Cowboys. So all he's left with are these failed Nepo babies who will go coach the Cowboys because it's such a great position to have. So you have this horrible owner, horrible GM, horrible coach, and it all combines to CeeDee Lamb being out for 4 weeks and ineffective for 8. And if I were a Cowboys fan, which thank God, but if I was a Cowboys fan, I don't know if I could do it. Like this feels a lot like the Matt Millen era in Detroit. It's never going to get better. Wow. It's always going to be awful. There's nothing you can do about it. This was just indicative of the overall larger problems. They're not going to win anything significant with Dak Prescott. They're going to waste him because in 3 years he won't be there. In 3 years is the minimum window till they be competitive again. It's horrible for Cowboys. I got friends that are Cowboys fans, and my advice to them is to become a Lions fan. But if you're not going to do that, like, I feel bad for you. Look, this is horrible. Football wise, Clev, the last 2 weeks, all like the tape guys are watching TikTok, like the break down the tape guys, because I can't really do that for the NFL. They were all saying Caleb is a lot better this year. They're all saying the results aren't there yet. Stick with them. He looks way better. He's going to be way better. They played the Lions. Like, just stay with it. It's going to work. Immediately against the Cowboys, it shows up. They're immediately vindicated. Now, the Cowboys are the worst defense of football, but Cleve, when you were watching this, was it obvious to you as the game was going on that Caleb was making big improvement, big strides?
I mean, you and Scott could have gotten some yardage in that offense because the pass rush was non-existent. I mean, he was up. I don't think he had 0 sacks.
First time in his career.
Yeah, he wasn't hit. So, he had a ton of time. He can go through his reads. I don't know what the defense was doing. Some of the stuff didn't make sense to me. I'm not an X's and O's guys per se. I'm not a big X and O guy, but they were out of position. Some of that stuff, and their corners. I don't know who the Bears receivers are, but I bet the corners do because they just saw the back of those jerseys all game long. I got that from Matt.
Shout out, Matty Ice.
They knew who they were because you just saw that guy running clear. So yeah, I mean, it gave him I'm glad he had a game like that because it gave him the confidence to go against an NFL defense, whether they're good or bad. They're getting paid to be out there too, and it's not his fault they look like dog shit. So yeah, take advantage. He should have had like 500 yards against that defense. Right?
Yeah, and so we got to see the arm talent when he's not running for his life, like on the flea flicker.
Correct. Yes. He had a ton of time.
A missile.
Yes, and the thing that was so devastating about the flea flicker, I didn't realize at the time, is that Ben Johnson saw the Cowboys respond to 12 personnel the exact same way 3 straight times, designed the flea flicker on the iPad, or the Microsoft Surface, whatever they use, on the sideline, ran the team through it during the timeout, and then they did it.
Wow.
Like it was backyard football. That's why the pitch from Swift was so bad. They had never practiced it.
Yeah.
Right? And the other thing about that is as a fan of a team, the Lions has to go against the Bears. All the wide receivers in that play did something very critical. They didn't act too much like they were blocking, but they didn't break fully into the routes until they were beyond the vision of the defensive backs. And they all did it on a play they had at practice, which means that Ben Johnson knew to coach that as well.
Yeah.
From the sideline with a play he literally just drew up. And
it's frightening what that offense might end up being inside the NFC North, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw your comment there, Scott. I got it. So yeah, the Bears are still lacking talent in a lot of places, but they're going to get better. And I think Caleb, with this game and some of his performances last year, has shown me enough. Like, should he have been picked ahead of Jaden Daniels? Probably not, in hindsight. But I'm a lot more confident that Caleb Williams is going to prove himself worthy of being a very high draft pick at quarterback than I am that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to do it at wide receiver.
Well, if he does that, then he was the right pick.
That's true. That's true.
Right? Because I mean, his physical tools, not including the running, but he had a more expansive ceiling than Jaden Daniels did. He just did.
That's true. That's a good point.
So,
yeah,
all
three Bears wide receivers caught a touchdown this game. Roma Dunze, Luther Burden on the flea flicker, and then DJ Moore. Breakout game for Luther Burden, 3 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. That's great for my best ball bags. He is my highest drafted wide receiver. So
yeah,
I like
that Dunze play. He was so gone.
Yeah,
like he could have hit him from his couch. That's how open he was.
Yes. Now the person guarding him that played Cleve was Travion Diggs.
Yeah, coming off a knee injury or whatever it was last year. You think I'm not gonna pick on that kid?
Well, I think Trey might be in the same position of James Conner, which is this injury might have been too devastating. That might be it for you. And so I hate to do this to you. I hate to do this to you, Cleve. But what do you think about how Steph Diggs now is struggling, coming off the ACL? I don't think any NFL player should work out with you anymore.
They didn't work out with me. I know guys that they worked out with. I'm just friends with those guys. The thing about ACLs, and this is the trainer hat on right now. Some of that stuff is you lose the fear. The fearlessness. I think a lot of guys get worried about getting injured again.
Yeah.
Like when you blow an Achilles or you something like that, that's different. But you lose the fear, and that's the thing that's always been about ACL. Back in my day and Scott's day, when you had an ACL, your career was technically over, right? Back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, your career was over. But now you can come back within a year. But I think the fearlessness that these guys have from getting injured again, some players go through that where they come back, like McCaffrey, they come back, they're injured again. He's not injured this year yet, or hopefully he wouldn't be. But I just think that the fearlessness at wide receiver is such a haphazard situation. Like you're all over the field, you're cutting across the field, you're catching hospital balls. Pause. So I just think with the struggles is just it may be not lack of talent. It's just that I don't want to get injured again. I don't want to go through that again. Right. So they're gingerly being out there. Football, you got to be off. Scott knows this. You got to be off when you play football. And I think sometimes that these guys get stripped of that mentality. Like it's kind of a little bit eroding that, hey, man, I'm not going across to get that ball again because I get hit on this knee again.
Yeah.
Rehab sucks.
And that is a perfect segue for the next game. Chiefs 22 at Giants 9, and Cam Scattaboo is definitely a little bit off.
Yeah, he's got the Jerry Shockey thing going.
Yeah,
energy. I love the energy, but you got to bring it down because you're gonna have CTE by week 8.
I don't think Cam Scattaboo has CTE. I think CTE has him. That man is insane. So yeah, 10 carries, 60 yards, 1 touchdown. He also led them in receiving, 6 catches for 61 yards. So, and Tyrone Tracy got hurt. So this backfield belongs to Scattaboo now. So that's fun because he's a fun player to watch. I'm not sure how good he's going to be. I did see somebody say, I did not confirm this, but somebody did say that his height, weight, athletic measurables are identical to John Riggins.
Wow.
So it's like, what would John Riggins look like in the NFL today? And Cam Scattaboo might be the answer.
Yeah.
The way Derrick Henry's identical to Jim Brown. So it's like, no wonder Jim Brown was so good.
That brand of ball. that brand of ball to me is so extinct. Because that's like an Earl Campbell type, John Riggins, that era.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't run over everybody because he can't run over Myles Garrett. You're not going to square up against Myles Garrett and run him over. I don't personally think so.
But you can try.
I think that he needs to have a little bit more wiggle in his game. But that power back stuff, that's like short yardage. We need to convert 3 and 4 here, or we're in the red zone. Let's just bang it in. Pause.
Yeah.
But I just can't see like him. He hasn't had a breakaway run in the NFL yet.
It ain't happening.
Yeah. So
I will say definitively that Jordan Davis is a faster straight line runner than Cam Scadaboo.
Yeah, I just
no question.
He's definitely a battering ram, but I think he's gonna learn real quick in the NFL. Like the body takes punishment.
Yeah,
and it's week 3. By week 9, let's see if that energy is still there to do that.
I like it. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Nothing to say about this game necessarily. The Chiefs still kind of look listless, but they won because they're just a lot better. The only other point on this, and we will get to the Lions here, Scott. Jackson Dart has been named the starter for week 4, which makes sense because Russell Wilson looked terrible. Scott, how many games does Jackson Dart need to win for everybody there to not get fired?
I don't know that it's necessarily. I mean, I'll give you an answer, but 5, right? 5 or 6, 5. I think it's more about what do they look like overall. They could, let's say who do they play this week?
Home to the Chargers.
Okay, so you're home to the Chargers, and you make it a really good, compelling, close game where the offense looks good. And it looks like there's a plan, and they sustain drives, and it all looks good. And we lost by 3, but there's signs of life, right? So that kind of stuff matters. So, the win column matters too, but sometimes it's the nuance and the context around that stuff. As long as they look like a young, sort of up and coming kind of offense that gives you signs of life, I think they're okay if they do win X number of games. Obviously they have to win games, but it can't look ugly like these, like it just can't. And if it looks like that, then
so what you just said was, can he get the ball to Neighbors effectively? If yes, you could be our quarterback. If no, everybody's gone, including you.
Yeah. But also, because Neighbors wants to be more of a vertical deep route runner, right? Which is rightly so.
Yeah.
I do think that the Giants put together plays in the preseason that they pulled from Ole Miss, things that he liked. That's more middle of the field intermediate stuff. I think there's a scenario at play where like Wan'Dale Robinson could have better production.
Interesting.
In the short term, maybe a guy like Theo Johnson gets going a little bit.
No chance. In state.
It's valid. Darius Slayton might make a touch of a little comeback, and they will take shots.
Yeah.
To Neighbors, it's just not going to be moon balls every opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
So, to me, that's the thing is that they have to show progression in terms of what the offense looks like, and it needs to improve on a week to week basis. 1 week you might look good, you might take a step back, but the trend has to be, going up for these guys to save their jobs. I think Dart can do it. I really do. I think he's dynamic enough in some ways that he's capable of doing some of these things, but it's a tall task to win enough games at this point. It just is, but I think it's more the context in and around it.
Okay, so everybody's getting fired. Because they're not winning 5 games. But it will be interesting to see how he looks against the Chargers this week and then at New Orleans the week after. So those are the 2 games. Now to the actual game of the week with a few minutes left here. Lions 38 at the Ravens 30. As Lions fans, Scott and I, tried and true, Cleve's on the bandwagon this year, picked them in the Super Bowl. This was a good game for all of us. This is something we really needed to see from the Lions. The Ravens, I think, are a legitimately fantastic football team. And I think that the Lions kind of kicked the shit out of them, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I think the Ravens scored 24 legitimate points because they are the Ravens and they are that good. But I did not see a functional difference between this game and how we played against the Bears. And that made me really happy.
Yeah.
Now, the main thing in this game, of course, is how the Lions ran the ball. David Montgomery, 151 yards. Gibbs had like 112 or something like that on the ground. But to me, the game was one that they sacked Lamar 7 times, Cleve. Have you ever seen Lamar Jackson get sacked 7 times in a game? Because normally he'll just get away.
Yeah, he looked bad. He looked like he tried to make things happen when there was nothing there, and he throw the ball away. Don't take a sack in some of those situations.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was a bad game. I'm not a particular fan of Harbaugh. And I think Matt actually gave me a stat. He said that he's blown 17 double-digit leads in the time that he's been with the Ravens in totality. And if you parse that up, that's it. That's a season.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's about a season.
Yeah, I don't think so. And Scott, I'm going to get to you next. I promise.
It's good. We're good.
Okay. I don't think that stat is as negative as it sounds on the surface, because it implies 2 things. It implies, one, he's been the coach there for a long time, and that they have a lot of double-digit leads. So, like, for example, if you go to look at all the coaches that have lost March Madness games as a 1 or 2 seed, like 3/4 of them are in the College Basketball Hall of Fame, because you have to be a 1 or a 2 seed first before you can lose as one, right? And I think that this sort of indicates that. It indicates how long he's been there and how consistently good they have been for him to have blown this many. And then we also the other side of that. Is he 17-17 with double-digit leads, or is he 117? Right? That also indicates exactly from there. So I'm not as that stat doesn't mean as much to me without some more context like that around it. Scott, after the Lions played the Packers in week 1, we didn't have the show, but offline sky is falling. The Lions cannot win the Super Bowl because the offensive line is trash. The offensive line in this game was amazing.
Yeah.
Caveats, no Matt Weekway and no Kyle Van Noy for the Ravens.
Yeah.
Also, I think Roquan Smith is actually just adjacent. I think he's falling off now. So against the Packers, Penei Sewell gave up a 21.5% pass rush win rate to Michael Parsons. League average is like 7.5.
Yep.
Was the Lions' offensive line that bad against the Packers, or did Penei Sewell just have a really bad game, and thus it all looked bad for them? And that explains how they could then play like that 2 weeks ago, flip around here, and dominate the Ravens.
Yes, I think the Lions laid a couple times a year. The Lions lay eggs. They just do. They have with Dan Campbell, with Ben Johnson, all that stuff. They've done that. Week 1 appears to be one of those games we're going to look back on and think that's just that they played a very bad game for whatever reason. They did it 2 years ago against Baltimore and Green Bay on Thanksgiving. They did it last year. They struggled against Houston. Tampa wasn't a good game. So
Gino,
yeah. So lots of in week 1 there was a lot of missed assignments, a lot of weird stuff that went on. But one of the tells around it was that they all underperformed. Like you mentioned, Sewell had a very bad game in week 1, maybe his worst game as a pro. But you follow that up in week 2 by just obliterating Chicago and then going on the road and looking like that in week 3. And it's like, they're fine. They're good.
Yes. And one of my reasons for being concerned too was the schedule.
Yeah.
Because they have so many tough road games. Like all their games are tough road games or divisional. There's 2 major changes though that have moved 2 of those games to me from difficult but they should win, and the other one to if they win, like wow. With Joe Burrow being out, at Cincinnati is no longer a threat.
Yeah.
They'll be favored by a touchdown in that game, and they should win by that.
Yeah.
And also, I'm just going to say it. The Lions are way better than Kansas City. I don't care if they play the game in Arrowhead. I don't care if they play it at Travis and Taylor's wedding. Like, the Lions are going to destroy the Chiefs no matter where they play. Because,
yeah, I mean, there's a scenario where the Lions could be 5-1 through the first 6 games.
Yeah.
And nobody would have thought that.
Now, all the other road games, I think, are still as difficult, at the Commanders with Jaden Daniels, at the Eagles. Like, there's a lot of other tough games, but they already got the win at Baltimore. At Cincinnati should be irrelevant. If the Lions are that good, Jake Browning cannot beat them. And then at Kansas City, I think the Lions are just so firmly better than the Chiefs. Like, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters where they play. Like, they're not in our class.
I don't think they are either. There's that performance offensively, defensively. They tackled incredibly well on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they got near Lamar, he went to the ground, which never happens.
Which is why he didn't throw the ball away, because he's like, why am I falling?
Yes.
He always runs out of that. That's why he never threw it away, because why would he? He's going to run for 20 yards.
Yeah, it was one of those days. It's just like, but it's exactly what Lions fans needed after week 1, going, kind of getting ready for this season to sort of get underway, was this, we're here. We're going to stay here, because of Dan Campbell. Is that what?
So, Paul said Scott take a bow for his Dan Campbell has more to do with the Lions offense than most think tank. Yeah, dead on. I got some arguing with you about the Lions. I never win.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but week 1 was week 1, and it looked awful. It did.
Yeah. No, they've done enough to where, to me, combined with the schedule, I'm thinking again, number 1 and number 2 seed in the NFC. It's going to be them and the Eagles.
Yeah.
Pending what the 49ers deal with their soft schedule, but let's see how it goes in the postseason here. So. Yeah, great game here. And again, the Ravens didn't even play terribly. The Lions were just better.
Yeah.
Which
is so odd, right?
Yes. If I'm the Ravens, I'm looking at the loss to Buffalo and the loss to Detroit, and I'm bummed because they're probably not going to get home field advantage in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at both these games. I'm not thinking, oh my God, we're in so much trouble.
No.
It's like, oh, we know what we have to do. Like, we're a B+, they're the A's, but we know exactly what we have to do now.
Yeah.
To make that work.
Starting by going to Kansas City and winning this week.
Yes. And so we're not going to do a full preview of the upcoming week because we're out of time here, but I do want to mention that game, Cleve, Sunday afternoon, Baltimore at Kansas City. Both teams are 1-2. One team will be 1-3 coming out of it.
You're asking?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, Patrick Mahomes is still in the league, so I always got to go with that guy.
You're gonna take them in your head. Yeah. Now, let me ask you. And the reason I asked it was to set this up. When I said that the Chiefs are not in the Lions class, you did not object at all, at least not out loud, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So, if you think the Chiefs are going to beat the Ravens, so you think that the Chiefs are better than the Ravens, but the Lions are better than the Chiefs, do you think the Lions are the best team in football? Them and the Eagles, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, yes. It's a three-headed monster. It's the Bills, the Eagles, and Lions. That's how I kind of see that. The way Baltimore looked, and again, it's only week 3. I mean, it's only week 3. I get it. We're not even full quarter yet through the season. But the way they looked, Henry has definitely a problem holding on to the football. I don't know what's going on with him. All of a sudden, he can't hold on to the ball. But I just when it's all said and done, I know you're a huge Lamar guy. I think Lamar's like a Dan Marino. Like a Dan Marino is going to have a lot of records, a lot of accolades, just not a Super Bowl title. I think if he wins the Super Bowl, it's not going to be with Baltimore, and that's just something I feel deep down. I can't explain why or why not. I just feel like that. And I do feel like Herbert will get a ring before Josh and Lamar. I kind of feel that because of Harbaugh.
So that is a phenomenal take. And that will be going on TikTok. So get ready. Only because I think the Bills are so close this year.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to tell me that you think the Chargers will win the Super Bowl before the Chiefs win it again, I don't think that take is bad necessarily, but it's definitely like an aggressive one. It's definitely one where it's like, oh, I got it. Yeah. Maybe. Okay. Yeah. You got to think about it.
I just don't think that we, not the three of us here, but we as fans, we as podcasters or whatever, I think the coaching period goes very under, like it's kind of like Harbaugh instantly made the Chargers good again.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Gets there, immediately we see changes, right? Everywhere the guy goes, like you said earlier, the guy wins, right? Guy just has a pedigree to go with it.
Yes.
They got out-coached. The Ravens, I don't know. I'm kind of trying to like set this up. The way Lamar was playing, I saw no adjustments by Harbaugh to say, okay, listen, this is what we're seeing out there. This is what you're doing. You're holding, like he's going with his same old thing about scrambling out of, like you said, scrambling out of these things, but it's not working. It hasn't worked you're getting sacked, the pressure's coming, and you hold on to the ball. You got to change that up. You got to either scheme up better or whatever. Like I saw no changes. If that was a boxing match, we're in round 7 and you're still getting hit by a right hand cross. And I'm like, dude, are you going to duck that at any point tonight? What are we doing? But they got out coached. The Ravens got out coached. I know that, I'm not a big, like I said, I'm not a big X and O guy, but they got out coached. The Lions, like Dan Campbell, the coach, like I'm giving him sort of his flowers, but that was a very great game executed by the Lions, and they literally ran thunder and lightning on those guys. I've never seen 2 running backs go off like that. I mean, we've seen it in the 80s or whatever. We've seen the tandem backfield. These guys were pretty much saying, hey, we're competing against ourselves. How many yards can you get on your next carry? These guys are running through that defense. And I saw no adjustments being made. I saw no 8 in the box. Nothing, bro. Nothing. I'm going to
tell you right now. If you were an 8 in the box against a team rolling out Jameson Williams, God bless you. Because that ain't going to go well. Okay, we are going to get out of here, Scott. I know you got to take off. I got to as well. I have to go take some meds and lay down. Clev, my recovery is happening, but it's still ongoing. So we will be back next week with to recap week 4. Obviously, this Ravens Chiefs game. The Lions are going to murder Cleveland, which will be hilarious to laugh at Packer fans when that happens. But yeah, we'll be back next week to discuss all the action in week 4. Scott, final words. All right, see you later. Clev, final words.
Russell Wilson is a Hall of Famer. Not first ballot, but he's a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry I had to end like that.
I think Russell Wilson is a Hall of Famer. I think Russell Wilson is a Hall of Famer is something that Trump said in his Tylenol causes autism speech. All right. Thank you, everybody in the chat, Paul, everybody who was here. We appreciate it. Everybody watching live, watching on replay. If you're watching on replay, please click the like button, share with friends, all that. Super important for us. And we will see everybody next week. Peace.
Later, guys. Thank you.